Welcome to Striking Options, the show that reveals the options you have to better navigate markets. I'm Jeff Kilberg, and we've adjusted our show until we can get back into the studio. I'm joined today by Scott Bauer. Welcome, Scott.
Hi there, Jeff. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Another fascinating week in the marketplace. And I want to cover two topics there. I want to talk about additional stimulus globally, but I also want to talk about the up and coming OPEC meeting this week on June 4th. But let's dive in first. If you're comfortable, let's talk about, is there more stimulus coming from a global perspective?
Well, you look at Chancellor Angela Merkel, and she's in the middle of attempting to deliver a second stimulus package. The first one was in March. Contraction there is exceeding 6% this year, the deepest after World War II. But, it seems like there might be a tough road ahead. The big issue seems to be the automakers. But they're looking to really get that stimulus and raise family subsidies by at least 50%.
No, it's a great point. And I hear the U.S. Congress, they're trying to decide on a second wave of stimulus checks here in the month of June. But we're also seeing just global central bankers really remain poised. And we've seen how they've addressed this. Some of it's been policy rate cuts. Some has been central bank liquidity. There's also been central bank swap lines. Do you see lock and step the same way that we saw the ECB, the Bank of Japan, the PBOC follow the Federal Reserve and the U.S.? Do you see that type of template that was utilized after the great financial crisis? Is that going to be more of a shadow? So that additional stimulus we could definitely see in coming quarters?
I definitely think that. And I think the rest of the world is going to take the Fed's lead on this and pretty much follow not necessarily lockstep, but the same type of plans that the Fed may set out to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's transition into the OPEC meeting. We get really excited. We're seeing some buyers come into the crude oil market, but they're moving the OPEC meeting up to June 4th, this Thursday. What's interesting is that the initial OPEC plus, let's call it, that's the OPEC and non-OPEC members, they were considering their production cuts of about 10 million barrels per day. That was supposed to go through May or even June. And now the expectations seemingly are those cuts going to extend to September 1st. So what are your expectations for this OPEC meeting on Thursday, June 4th? And will the market continue to see buyers?
With the recent move that we've seen just around the world in demand, I do think they're going to extend their cuts, and maybe they'll even extend beyond the July-August timeframe, maybe to the end of 2020. But I think it is likely for them to extend that.
No, that's a great point. And remember that 9.7 million barrels per day that they've currently been reducing in their production. That's about 10% of global production. So I think we stay at that number, or do you potentially see a deeper cut, Scott?
I think we probably stay at that number. That would be the way that I'm looking at it, but just extend the length of time that they are cutting back.
All right, great point. Well, Scott, thanks as always. We want to thank you also for tuning in to Striking Options. And please tune in every week as we will continue to strike options.